Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings for Tuesday, August the 28th. We have a full 15-game slate tonight. Plenty to talk about. We have a ton of stud pitching options. Just looking at DraftKings, we have 6 pitchers that are over, or actually 7 pitchers, that are over $10,000 or 10,000 or more. So we got the studs definitely on this slate. Mid-tier plays, I do see some mid-tier plays I like. I didn't see much value that was really intriguing, like sub 6K. But we'll cover some of the pitchers I like. We'll talk about pitching in general. Go over the bats, talk about some hitters I like, the stacks I'm going to, the teams I feel like I'm going to be stacking up. Also, we will cover BVP plays towards the end for those of you interested in BVP. But before we do get started, guys, make sure you drop a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. And if you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. But yeah, just starting off at pitcher at the top here, we have Max Scherzer, who is 12,600. Gets a matchup today against the Phillies. I think Max is underpriced today, 12.6. That's too cheap for Max Scherzer. I don't really care what the matchup is. Scherzer should be 13K or more pretty much every time he pitches. 12.6 is too cheap. I like Max today. He just faced this Phillies team last week in his last start and did pretty well. 28.2 DraftKings points, 7 innings, allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, but did get 10 strikeouts. Like I said, finished with 28 DK points. It's a matchup where there are some Ks in this Phillies lineup. Although they have a lot of good hitters, there are definitely strikeouts in this lineup. Max obviously has the ability to strike these guys out. Really like Scherzer here. I think he is the top pitcher on this slate, and definitely probably is the highest projected pitcher when it comes to raw points. I'd prefer him over DeGrom. DeGrom is $400 cheaper. He has a tough matchup with the Cubs. I don't like this matchup for DeGrom. Going into Wrigley, where it's going to be another wind game. The winds are going to be blowing out about to left, center-ish kind of at 13 miles per hour. I think we're going to see some runs in this game. I don't know how many runs. I don't think it's going to be like a insane pitcher's duel, like 2-0, but I could definitely see it be like a 3-4 game. I don't know if I'm really going to be stacking these teams, but I don't really know if I'm going to be playing the pitchers either. So I don't have much interest in DeGrom. Aaron Nola in tournaments I do like today, especially if you're playing multiple lineups. This Nationals team is a good team offensively, but this is definitely a spot where Nola could really just perform well. We saw him perform well in his last start against the Nationals. Went 8 innings, 5 hits, did not allow a run, got 9 strikeouts, 36 DraftKings points the last time he faced the Nationals. I do like Nola today. He's pitching at home. He's pretty cheap when it comes to like Scherzer. He's $2,000 cheaper than Scherzer. I would recommend Scherzer in cash games. Scherzer is easily the cash game play today. But I'm going to be playing some tournament lineups, and I will definitely have some exposure to Nola. I'm not going to be too heavy on him, but definitely a guy I'm going to have exposure to. Carrasco and Flaherty, really just all these other 10K pitchers besides Nola. Flaherty, Carrasco, Buehler, and Buchholz, I really do not have interest in. Flaherty, I just don't know what his upside is. I think Nola is a better pitcher. He's only $200 more, and Nola just has more upside than Flaherty. And kind of the same can be said when it comes to Carrasco, Buehler, and Buchholz. There's just no way I'm going to pay $10,000 plus for these guys when I can get Aaron Nola, who is an elite pitcher for 10.6, even though he is in a tough matchup. Nola's just my preferred option if I'm going to play one of those pitchers in the 10K range. So yeah, I think that's it for the studs. It's really Scherzer and Nola for me. Don't have much interest in DeGrom. Would rather play Scherzer. Don't have much interest in these other 10K guys because I think Nola's the best play out of all the 10K guys. But let's go ahead and look in this mid-range. You got Cole Hamels, who gets a decent matchup with the Mets. We know the Mets struggle against lefties, but the wind is going to be blowing out to center. Cole Hamels is priced up. He's $9,800. Don't know if I really want to pay that much for Hamels, especially because you can't play him with Scherzer. You're just not going to have enough salary to fit in decent bats. So for that reason, I'll probably be off of Hamels today. Morton would probably be a more safer option if you're looking at one of those 9K pitchers. If you're going to fade the studs today and you want some more salary for bats, I think I would build around Morton as my SP1 at 9,500, but he's not really a guy I'm going to be too heavy on today. I'll probably make one lineup where I'll load up on some expensive bats. We will talk about the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are a great stack today, and they have a lot of expensive bats in their lineups. So if I want to stack the Dodgers today, I'm going to need a cheaper pitcher as my SP1, and that might be where I look to Morton. But like I said, not going to be too heavy on Morton. Not really interested in any of these other 9K guys. On this 8K range, Tehran at home against the Rays. A fine play, not really thrilled about Tehran. I would rather play Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn is definitely one of my favorite SP2s on this slate at 7,800. Facing the White Sox, this is a really good matchup. The White Sox we saw, at least as of now on Monday night, they're getting mowed down by Tanaka. I think Tanaka has like 7 or 8 strikeouts through 4 innings. This White Sox team just strikes out so much versus righties. And although Lance Lynn really isn't much of a strikeout pitcher, he's not a strikeout pitcher compared to how Tanaka is, he could still get some Ks here. We know Lynn struggles with lefties, but the lefties in this lineup, I'd say Sanchez and Palka are really the only lefties I'm worried about. Narvaez, just not that good of a hitter. Moncada has really been struggling at the plate. Although he has power, he will definitely strike out a ton. Delmonico, he's shown some power at times, but still is not a hitter really I'm scared of. It's really Sanchez and Palka. Those are the 2 guys I'm mostly worried about. Lance Lynn is really good against righties, so Anderson, Garcia, Davidson, I think these guys are really going to struggle versus Lance Lynn. I just think Lance Lynn's a good play here. He's a minus 230 favorite at home. Just one of the better plays at SP2 in my opinion. He has faced this White Sox team already once this year and did do pretty well. I'm not sure if this was back when he was with the Yankees or when he was with the Twins. But on August 6th, I believe he was with the Yankees then. He pitched against the White Sox and had a really good start. 7 1/3 innings, only allowed 2 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, 36.7 DK points the last time Lance Lynn faced the White Sox. I think it's a really good play here at 7,800. You pair him with Scherzer, that still leaves you 3,700 remaining for your bats, which you can definitely work around today. But looking at other pitchers in this 7K range, Matt Boyd has a good matchup against the Royals, but it's 7,600. I think Lance Lynn's probably a better play, a more safer play than Matt Boyd, but Boyd isn't a good matchup at least. Same with Panon. Don't know much about this guy, but he does have a good matchup against the Orioles. Panon, I believe he faced the Orioles. Yeah, he faced the Orioles in his last start and did pretty well. 7 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 23 DraftKings points last time he faced the Orioles. Gets a matchup against them again. 7,300. He did get a price increase. So at that price, I'd rather play Lance Lynn. But Panon, if you're playing a lot of tournament lineups today, I would have a little bit of exposure to him. But just looking at value at pitcher, there's not a lot of value I really like. At least it's like 7K and below. Just the value at pitcher today doesn't really get me thrilled. Junior Guerra's cheap, and he's facing the Reds, but in Great American Ballpark, I don't know if I really want to go to Junior Guerra today. I don't know if he's a guy I really want to be too heavy on, but he is cheap, a somewhat decent matchup, I guess you could say. Felix Hernandez has a good matchup against the Padres, but Felix Hernandez just not a guy that's really good. Don't know how deep he's going to pitch. Going to the National League, if he comes up to bat with like 80 pitches, Hernandez might get pinch hit for, so I don't know if I would go there, but he is cheap and he's facing the Padres, so definitely do want to mention him. But I think that's it for pitcher. So let's go ahead and talk about the bats, the hitters that we want to go to on this slate. I love the Dodgers today. The Dodgers are one of my favorite stacks. So we'll start off at second base. Really like Brian Dozier here. 4,400 is a very nice price tag for Brian Dozier, especially in this spot in Texas versus Ariel Gerardo, who is an absolute terrible pitcher. This is a guy we definitely want to stack up against. The Dodgers right now have a 6.3 implied run total. This is just such a good spot for the Dodgers. Like I said, they are expensive, really, really expensive. The cheapest bats in this lineup are Dozier at 4.4, Puig at the same price, and Jock Peterson at 4,700. That's the most value you're going to get out of this lineup. But like I said earlier, if you go like Morton and Lynn as your 2 pitchers, you can definitely stack the Dodgers. I will be doing that in a tournament lineup. But I love Dozier, especially in cash games with this price of 4,400. Batting in the middle of that lineup for a team that has an over 6 run total. I think Dozier, a really good play, 4,400 at second base. Definitely one of my favorite overall options on this slate. But back to first base, another play I like here and another stack I like today is the Yankees. So I do like Neil Walker, who is 3,500, very cheap, gets a good matchup with James Shields. We know James Shields is just not that good of a pitcher, not a guy that we really believe in. At least I don't believe in him. I don't think he's really going to be a guy I'm going to be too afraid to pick on. Do like some of these Yankees bats in the Bronx, in the Yankee Stadium, in that hitter's park. I feel like James Shields is probably going to struggle here, especially with all these good lefties in this lineup. Gardner, Hicks, Neil Walker, who's been hitting the ball a lot better recently. It's just going to be a tough spot for James Shields. The Yankees have a 5.9 implied run total right now as I'm recording this video. Shields is going to struggle. The Yankees are in a great spot. Neil Walker, a great play from that lineup, just 3,500. Should be batting 5th. Just makes a ton of sense in general, especially if you are looking for some value at first base or second base. You can play him at either position. But then my final play is going to shortstop. We got another really cheap value play I like here. Ahmed Rosario, really, really cheap today. He's just 3,300. Gets a somewhat tough matchup against Cole Hamels, but this is a matchup where Ahmed Rosario, if he gets on base, he could definitely run wild against Cole Hamels. Hamels really struggles with stolen bases, and that is one thing that Rosario is very good at. He's already got 15 stolen bases this year, and it's a great matchup for that. Obviously, the wind in Wrigley should help Rosario as well. The wind is going to be blowing out to center, 13 miles per hour. We're going to see some runs scored in this game. Guys like Rosario, especially with their prices, like Rosario at 3,300, Wilmer at 3,600, I think these guys do make sense today. If you are trying to find some cheap value plays, we saw Austin Jackson bat second on Monday. If he bats second again at 2,900, could be one of the cheaper value plays you look to. Jackson's another guy that has speed that could definitely run on Hamels. Just like the guys that have speed, Rosario is one of them, and I think he's a really good option, especially at this very, very cheap price of 3,300. So these are my 5 plays for today, guys. Max Scherzer, Lance Lynn, Neil Walker, Brian Dozier, and Ahmed Rosario. Now we will quickly talk about some of the stacks I like on this slate. I'll go over the BVP plays as well. So just looking at stacks, there's a lot of high run totals on this slate. Got a 5.1 implied run total for the Indians right now. You got 5.9 implied run total for the Red Sox. 5 implied run total for the Brewers. 6.3 for the Dodgers versus Gerardo. Looking at some of the other high run totals. Let's see. Those are the high ones, at least as of now. We do have a couple games that are still offline that don't have run totals. But some of these teams like the Dodgers just stick out to me so much here. In the heat in Texas, 97 degrees, great hitting weather. The Dodgers should easily put up runs here versus Gerardo. So they are by far my top stack on this slate. I think all these guys are in play, top to bottom. Will be interesting to see how the Dodgers construct their lineup for today. But if this is the lineup they roll out that's projected, Peterson, Turner, just all these guys are great plays today. You can find the value. Peterson, Dozier, some of the cheaper bats. Grandal, if you can fit him in at catcher, has to be one of the top catcher plays, if not the top catcher play on the slate. Even at the bottom of the lineup, Chris Taylor, Puig, these guys are in play for me. I'll be stacking the Dodgers. I'll be stacking this lineup top to bottom today. Just love it so much. 6.3 implied run total. But some of the other stacks, if we want to go a little contrarian, I think the Yankees might come somewhat lower owned today than they should versus James Shields. So you could definitely go to the Yankees. The Red Sox get Jose Urena in Fenway Park. So the Red Sox, especially their lefties, Benintendi, Moreland, you can consider some of these guys. They're definitely not going to be owned compared to what the Yankees or the Dodgers are probably going to be owned. So the Red Sox are probably your top sneaky stack on the slate, especially if you're looking for a low-owned stack with upside. That has to be the Red Sox. But I think that's it for stacks, the ones that I'm really going to be heavy on today. So let's quickly look at BVP. There are a lot of BVP plays on this slate, so I'm just going to cover the ones with about a 20 at-bat sample, so that way we can keep it short. Odubel Herrera, he's gone 13 for 39 with the home run versus Max Scherzer. Let's see here. Jason Kipnis, 13 for 31 with the home run versus Kyle Gibson. Edwin Encarnacion, 7 for 28 with 4 home runs versus Gibson. Michael Brantley, 7 for 23 with a home run. Yan Gomes, 12 for 27, 2 home runs versus Kyle Gibson. Jose Ramirez, 9 for 28 with a home run versus Gibson. Eddie Rosario, 8 for 21 with a home run versus Carlos Carrasco. Joe Mauer, 14 for 39 with a home run versus Carrasco. Jose Reyes, 22 for 59 versus Cole Hamels. Alcides Escobar, 9 for 23 versus Matt Boyd. And then towards the bottom here, A.J. Pollock, 16 for 57, 3 home runs versus Bumgarner. And Paul Goldschmidt, 21 for 63 with 3 home runs versus Bumgarner. So that's it for BVP, guys. Obviously, I didn't cover all the BVP plays. If you want to look at all of them, feel free to pause the video here and scroll through them. But I think that is it for the video. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy the video, and hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, before you do get out of here, make sure you give it a like. I would really appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. If you did enjoy the video, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe if you have not yet. And if you do have any questions just about this slate or just about DFS in general, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. Or if you do not have a Twitter, you can always leave comments down below. I am always reading the comment section. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. And good luck tonight on this big 15-game slate. Peace.